Providence. We came to the town in the afternoon and at once went to Hudson Street. "This is the street," said he at last. A boy ran up to us and said, "He's in, Mr. Holmes. Come along, Watson. This is the house." In a moment we were face to face with the man. It was a warm day, but he was sitting near the burning fire. The man's back was deformed and crooked. His face was dark, but it was clear that it was a great beauty a long time ago. He pointed at two chairs. "Mr. Henry Wood, late of India, I believe," said Holmes. "I want to ask you some questions about Colonel Barclay's death." "What should I know about that?" "That's what I want to find out. I think you know that Mrs. Barclay will be tried for murder." "I don't know who you are," the man cried, "nor how you know about me. But will you tell me if it's true?" "Why, the police are waiting for her to come to her senses. Then they will arrest her." "She didn't kill him." "Then you did." "No, I did not." "Who killed Colonel James Barclay then?" "Nobody. It was the just Providence that killed him. You want me to tell the story? Well, you see me now, with my back like a camel. But there was a time when Corporal Henry Wood was handsome. That time we were in India. Barclay was sergeant in the same company. The most beautiful girl was Nancy Devoy. There were two men that loved her. She loved the one who is sitting in front of you. Well, I had her heart, but her father wanted her to marry Barclay. He was rich and well educated. One day we got into great trouble. It was a trap. In a week we ran out of water. We couldn't fight any more, and the only chance was to get out of siege and ask for help. I had to do my best. I talked it over with Sergeant Barclay because he knew the country very well. He drew a map for me to follow. At 10 o'clock I started on my journey. In 10 minutes I walked into our enemies. They were waiting for me. I became their prisoner. From their words I understood that my friend had betrayed me. I tried to get away, but they caught me. They tortured me again and again. My back and all my bones were broken. I could hardly learn to walk. Finally I got my chance and escaped. I went north and found myself in Afghanistan. There I traveled and learned the art of traveling magicians. I didn't want to return to England. My friends and my family thought that I was dead. But when you get old, you start thinking about home. I remembered the bright green fields of England and decided to see him. I saved some money and then I came here. I know what soldiers like and can make enough money for living. "Your story is most interesting," said Sherlock Holmes. "I have already heard of your meeting with Mrs. Barclay. Then you followed her home and saw the quarrel through the window. She told him everything she knew. You ran across the lawn and ran into the room." "I did, sir. And when he saw me, his face turned into the mask of horror, and he fell down. He was dead before he fell. I read death on his face." "And then?" "Then Nancy fell unconscious, and I took the door key from her hand. I wanted to unlock it and get help, but then I decided to get away. I didn't want my secret to come out. In a hurry, I put the door key in my pocket and lost my stick. Teddy ran up the curtain, and I got him down. When I got him into his box, I was off as fast as I could run." "Who's Teddy?" asked Holmes. The man opened the box, and we saw a beautiful reddish-brown creature, thin and quick, with a long, thin nose and a pair of the finest red eyes that I ever saw in an animal's head. "It's a mongoose!" I cried. "Well, some call them that," said the man. "Snake catcher is what I call them, and Teddy is quick on cobras. I have one, and Teddy catches it every night on the performance." "Well, can we come to you again if Mrs. Barclay is in serious trouble?" "In that case, of course." We left him. When we were walking along the street, a policeman came up to us. "Ah, Holmes," he said, "I think you've heard about the case. It has come to nothing. What then?" The doctors say he died of heart attack. You see, it was a very simple case after all. Ah, yes, said Holmes, smiling. Come, Watson, I don't think we can return to London. There's one thing, said I as we walked down the station. The husband's name was James, and the other was Henry. Why did she say David? She told about David from the Bible.